believe Gustavo Puerta is also on the field for Colombia for Richard Rios.
Good spot, Ali. Gustavo Puerta, the man who plays in the Spanish second division with Racing Santander. What can John Cordoba bring to proceedings that Luis Suarez was not able to in the first half? I wonder, the 32-year-old is a late bloomer, Ali. Didn't make his national team debut until after he turned 30.
If you just look at John Cordoba, he walks in the room. He's a physical specimen. And there's an athleticism to John Cordoba that I think separates him. And what he does really well is that because he stays busy off the ball, he's able to challenge center backs. He's able to run in behind. There's strength to his game. The thing that I would say about John Cordoba is that he lacks physical. That's why he's not an everyday starter for Colombia. Physical attributes for John Cordoba, for Colombia's standards, are outstanding. And something that I think Mr. Lorenzo wants to take advantage of. I do think that he feels like he gets more combination play out of Luis Suarez with Luis Diaz, with Hamilton. That's why Luis Suarez started ahead.
He made more club form when it comes to James Rodriguez, but he certainly doesn't with Cordoba. Cordoba has been rattling in the goals in Russia for Krasnodar. 7 in the last 5 games he played before the international breaks. In form at the moment, can he make a difference? In his direction, nice touch as well to lay it on. Not really learned from Dure, just disrupting it, breaking it up. Receiving the wrap around the ankles for his troubles.
Good challenge from Miami Munoz. It's a little bit of doing in the process. Good challenge nonetheless.
Oh, that's a loose ball across the face of the area. It's pounced upon it. What a recovery challenge that was from Lacroix. Accents Lacroix getting across in the nick of time. The Crystal Palace defender making his first start for France, bailing the match.
It's a really good challenge from Lacroix, but I also have to say that Luis Diaz's first touch invites the challenge from Lacroix. He's trying to get that touch away from Kalulu, and in doing so, he brings Lacroix into the picture. A cleaner first touch from Luis Diaz puts him through on goal, and I don't think Lacroix is getting there.
Yeah. Luis Diaz, relatively quiet first half. Recent goal scoring record. Colombia got 5 goals in their World Cup qualifying campaigns, with 10 in the last 22 appearances he's made. Now good thinking and intervention there by Puerta. Drawing the foul on the resulting free kick.
It's the second or third time today that we have seen Desiree do it, just dancing with the ball a little too much, too loose on the touch. Puerta steps in, wins the ball, it's a foul, brings the player down, is cutting down an attacking opportunity for Colombia. It's a good decision on the yellow card as well.
Puerta winning just his 4th cap this afternoon. Goal on his debut friendly against New Zealand back in November. Colombia trying to avoid defeating his 2nd consecutive friendly, but they had gone 22 games without a loss in a friendly, going back to 2019.
We're talking about John Cordoba and how he's scoring goals for Krasnodar. I remember doing games for ESPN who were covering Liga MX, and this guy was playing at the time for Jaguares de Chiapas in 2013. He has been all over the place as a player. You mentioned the fact that he seemed to have been a late bloomer. When he was with Jaguares de Chiapas in 2013, I never would have thought that he would be in the position that he is now. So yeah, your point is well taken. John Cordova has matured late as a player and now has found a role in this national team.
Colombia have come out with renewed vigour at the start of the second half, simply snapping into the challenges, trying to make life awkward for Didier Deschamps' men. Simply enjoy more of the ball. Sanchez keeping it on the ground, good layoff. We're looking to take in turn, but he's two for company. Now, Kalulu coming to the fore for the first time in that amazing Nations League semi-final against Spain. Some game to make a debut in. A chance perhaps for Diaz to make some waves. And then the shot well over the top.
It doesn't amount to a whole lot, but I do like the work that I've seen so far from Gustavo Puerta. He's getting on the ball, he's being an option as the center backs are building up for Colombia, looking to combine, gets the ball from the center backs, completes the next pass, gets it again, spreads it out wide to Luis Diaz, and then from there, defensive line are unable to make the contact that he wanted. But positive signs from Colombia, encouraging signs from Colombia.
Loose ball. Good work from Diaz. Keep it alive. Can Colombia strike here while they have the momentum? It's going to halt the momentum for now. The foul committed. He was on the receiving end. Luis Diaz, who's already got himself to the third leading scorer all time in Colombia history with 21. He's behind only James Rodriguez and the great Radamel Falcao in that department.
As much as we wanted to see Luis Diaz on the field for Colombia, that sound that we hear in the distance is, yeah, let me confirm that, yeah. It's Vincent Kompany saying to Nestor Lorenzo, take this man off the field. That's it. He's had 2 games, he's played for you, okay, he's done enough, you know exactly what you're going to get at Luis Diaz. Why do you need to see this man in the field any longer? Vincent Kompany wants this guy to be healthy and ready to go this weekend.
Well, you and your Bundesliga ways, Ali.
Okay. Yeah, super.
Well, it's a careless giveaway. Will be punished. France on the move here. It's Thuram chasing it down. Good square. The shot is on, and it's 3. And it's Doué again who's done it. A clinical counter-attack. The 2 goal scorers combining this time. Thuram teeing up Doué, who did the rest.
And this team just converged in so many ways. And it's been a lot of possession from Colombia. It seems like they've been in control in the first 10 minutes of the second half. It felt like there were some positive, encouraging signs from Colombia. And then all it takes
It's a turnover. And then from there, it's 1 and 2 touches, and France are just running freely, able to find the correct pass with the correct pace, optional defending at the back post. Hey, Daniel Muñoz, where are you, papi? ¿Dónde estás? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And it's something that I mentioned earlier, that he lacks tactical discipline. He cannot account for the turnover. He's nowhere to be found. Desiree Doué reads the space. Marcus Thuram gives him some credit and understanding where the space was going to be for Doué. Puts the ball right into the pass of Doué. Good enough finish. Pass Montero, 3-0.
Here in DC, or just outside of it, Desiree Doué has found the back of the net twice. If indeed he does get given the first goal, which I think he will. The first 2 goals could be a very long and productive French national team career.
As Marcus Thuram is going down, he hits his face on the backside of the Colombian defender. That's all right. He'll be okay. And I think the discussion right now between Didier Deschamps and his assistant is, do we really need to put this guy's on? Yeah, I think so.
And there's Nestor Lorenzo, who, like Deschamps, has played in a World Cup final himself. Nestor Lorenzo was a teammate of Maradona's in the 1990 World Cup. They lost to Germany, the final in Italy. And I have to tell you, Ali, right after that World Cup in 1990, Nestor Lorenzo signed for the mighty Swindon Town.
I see what the connection is now. Your beloved Swindon Town.
Yeah. I happen to know for a fact that when he first arrived in Swindon, he was sleeping on the couch belonging to one Osvaldo Ardiles, who was managing Swindon at the time. These were simpler times, Ali, 1990. I think they found him a hotel eventually, but...
I'm glad that the budget allowed it.
Barely. Mr. Lorenzo, 60 years old now. Interesting career path for him, wasn't it? Because he was always an assistant to Jose Peckerman. Stuck with him through 3 different World Cups. 1 with Argentina, 2 with Colombia. His main man, Rodriguez, trying to deliver the free kick in the right place. Gomez building it beyond the far post, still there for the taking. Lovely crossfield ball which Diaz does manage to hunt down and keep in play. That's 2 for company. And you almost found a way through. But not quite.
No surprise that Colombia is very Luis Diaz dependent, but if they're going to do anything of note in this upcoming World Cup, there has to be productivity coming from other places. The game plan then becomes, well, force Luis Diaz to the outside, force him to the line. He can't combine if you put numbers around him, so you limit him to that channel. There's been a whole lot of Ryan Turkey being on the ground, alleging that he's being hit in the head, in the face, in the chest. Too much of that going on. I think the larger point is, for me anyway, is that if you're Colombia, you need to have alternative on the right-hand side. You need to have a productive James Rodriguez if he's going to be on the field. Your center forward has to give you a little bit more than what we have seen from Luis Suarez and Córdoba. All those things need to happen in order for Colombia to make it a run. And I think a run for Colombia would be quarterfinals. That would be the ceiling, maybe. Not much more than that.
Yeah, well, it's certainly been their ceiling historically. Some reached in Brazil. They can have a triple switch with it. It still lines up. Quintero is going to come on. Talking of players who played in that 2014 World Cup, Quintero was one of those. He's now 33.
I'm pretty sure we saw him score against Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, yeah. We was there, Alec. Digne. Was then deleted, and now the changes will take place. Mr. Lorenzo was so keen to see the options available to them. Their last two games before the World Cup started, both against slightly lesser opponents, Costa Rica and Jordan. So it's the last chance they have to really measure themselves as the genuine world power. Quintero arrives. It's going to be some of the cavalry arriving for France as well. Ekitike is amongst them. Campaz is also on Colombia. Duray making way for Ekitike.
This is getting out of control now. Are you keeping up with this, Adrian? Because, quite frankly, there's a lot going on.
I think it is also about to come on. So Emery is one of those who's made way.
Colombia is on as well.
It takes many pairs of eyes and an intentional friendly alley to keep up what goings and goings.
When I say Colombia is on, it wasn't with a whole lot of certainty, but I'm pretty sure Ryan Colombia is going to be on side.
No. No.
I'd love to see a little bit of action from the man who's just one goal away from tying the all-time records. French national team.
In all honesty, and I know that the fans would want to see Kylian Mbappe, but if I'm Didier Deschamps, I have no need whatsoever to put this guy in the field.
Quarterback. Return N'Golo Kante. The substitutions and the changes remain still appearing at the top of your screen. Camavinga replacing Zaire Emery. Colomwani, you were right, Ali. On for Antayush. Don't forget, scored some big goals at major tournaments for France. Goal in the World Cup semi-final against Morocco, goal in the Euro semi-final against Spain.
And let's not forget, Adrian, and I'm sure that Ronald Colomani has not forgotten this himself. He had the opportunity to score the most important goal of his life late in that match against Argentina in the World Cup final, when it ended up being a great save by Emiliano Martinez. The profile of a player changes dramatically when something like that happens. Had a chance to be a hero forever. I suppose give credit to Martinez, but what an opportunity that was late in the match.
TK, who got on the score sheets against Brazil, very similar finish to the one that Kylian Mbappe had produced in the first half. In fact, he mentioned that in the post-game interview. He saw the way Mbappe finished. This is a surging run from the Liverpool man, and in the end, the cross comfortably claimed by Montero. One back for Colombia. A chance to break here. Samba down to smother. Championship Campas, who just came on for Colombia. This is tough football in Argentina with Rosario. Well won by Kalulu. Shiaki putting it up for grabs. Samba out on patrol.
I think Kalulu, we were talking about not so obvious selections to be made by Didier Deschamps. Kalulu is a guy that today has done himself a favor. He has flexibility that he can play the right back position, that he can also play center back for you, and gives you that flexibility. If you are Didier Deschamps, you know that if you need some problem solving, that he may just give you that.
Spin from Cordoba, but the shot didn't really match when it come before it.
So when you are about to make those tough decisions that Didier Deschamps has to delay by 1 day, again, I don't know why, but when it comes to making those tough decisions, and he was a guy that played well today, that can play a couple of different roles. Those are the sort of guys that usually get the benefit of the doubt because they're problem solvers, if indeed it comes to that for Didier Deschamps in the World Cup.
Is there going to be another hydration break here? There is. First of all, that would give us a chance to tell you what is coming up when we return to domestic action. We'll be back next weekend. And in La Liga, boy, is that a big one. Atletico Madrid against Barcelona. Match day 30 on a Saturday, 2:30 Eastern start time on ESPN Plus. And it's now going to be Barcelona who won't have Rafinha available for quite a few weeks.
The initial reflection there from Daniel Munoz. Álvaro Montero had already committed, couldn't quite come back and try to make the save. And in this case, it's just really poor defending. It's poor defending out wide, it's poor defending in the middle, it's poor goalkeeping as well. Marcus Thuram out-jumped Daniel Munoz, 2-0, and this turnover. Once France recovered this sort of possession, how quickly do they turn this into a goal? It's a matter of 2 passes, combination play, no defending at the back post from Colombia, optional defending. The finish not the cleanest, but clean enough to get past Álvaro Montero, 3-0.
Yeah, he's not alone in this department, and amongst the Colombian defence though. It's not. It's a unit we've seen the best of today. One Cabal, perhaps particularly egregious. Missing completely, wasn't he, for Thuram's goal? This sloppy pass provided a platform for France's third.
Let me address what you just mentioned there, that you don't feel like I ignored it. I did not, Adrian. The director put the goals in front of me, so I was talking about the goals, but let me address the Rafinha situation. The last thing that you want as a manager, and it's the biggest fear for club managers, is that when your players go off to play this international, is that they come back carrying some sort of injury. That's exactly what has happened for Hansi Flick, Barcelona, specifically Rafinha. And it's an injury that for that team in particular, you need Rafinha not just for what he gives you offensively. There is a sense of leadership when he's on the field. There's also a sense of a guy who's willing to do the dirty work defensively and pressing. And the pressing game for Barcelona is critically important because that's what allows them to play that vaunted high line that we talked about so many times. Without that pressure, that back line gets exposed and the high line gets exposed. Hence why the absence of Rafinha is so significant for Barcelona.
Increase Hansi Flick's run of international football at all. We have that run-in with the Spanish Federation over Lamine Yamal.
The thing is, Hansi Flick has been on the other side of that as an international manager as well. He knows, he gets it.
Yeah.
But he also understands that it's a risk. And it's a risk that you cannot manage from afar. You're Hansi Flick, there's nothing that you can do about it. Rafinha playing for Brazil, for Carlo Ancelotti, against France in the national friendly. That's out of your control.
Suburban DC. France sitting pretty with a 3-0 lead. We could dip into their A-team just a little in the second half.
Late challenge from Camavinga. Worthy of a yellow card.
Yeah. Camavinga, of course, only one appearance at the last World Cup in Qatar. His 29th cap today, the Real Madrid man. Looks as though we are going to see a little of Kylian Mbappe. Takes off the training top. We work there, and Cherki, not for the first time, shall we say, this afternoon, ends up on the turf.
And it's a foul, there's no doubt about it, but there's an opportunity for Ryan Turkey to get rid of this ball much earlier. Just play down the line. There's a player for France making a run in behind, who's a willing runner, and instead of Ryan Turkey starts to dribble and dribbles into 2, 3 players, and eventually gets himself in a tight position. Yeah, there's contact, yes, it's a foul. I just think in the overall game of Ryan Turkey, he could add simplicity to his game.
There he is with another moment. It's the right sort of ball this time. Critique is outnumbered and outmaneuvered.
Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to take the genius away, but use the genius when it's necessary. In those moments in which you can actually separate yourself because of that skill set that you have naturally. But in the balance of the game, if he were to simplify his game, I think he would do himself a favor and his teammates a favor.
Age of 22, Cherki will join Man City and close out his first year in the Premier League. There's 3 goals in the Premier League, 8 assists as well. It's been more productive in terms of the other competitions. Talking of productivity.
Yeah, it smells, it stinks of Kylian Mbappe saying, well, listen, if I'm going to hang around here for a second game, at least let me get some minutes. Let me get out there and make this at least a productive training session.
Yeah. The majority of the crowd here in Landover are about to get their wish as Cordoba wants to make something happen. A chance for a reply, and they've taken it. Colombia getting on the score sheet. Jamington Campaz with the unerring finish in off the far post. And something for the yellow-clad hordes to smile about at last.
All-Stars on the right-hand side. Doesn't seem like the cleanest of combinations, but it's a hold-up play from Cordoba that I think breaks everything open. He tries to, on the turn, hits it on target. It's a friendly deflection for Colombia, but then after that, quality on the pass, good pace on the ball in terms of the pass. It gives Campas everything that he needs in order to hit this with his left foot, while Cordoba is trying to create for himself as it falls to the top of the 18-yard box, and it's a good pass with good pace and a good finish of the far post, off the post and in. 3-1.
Yep, another debut international goal for Campaz. So Joran makes way. Someone who scored 53 goals more than him, who's counting, but Kylian Mbappe, who has scored in 7 consecutive France internationals. Has about 13 minutes of stoppage time to try and keep that run going. Can't be too many times in his career he's come off the bench. Only for Les Bleus.
They're dealing with the full tribute with Les Bleus.
Haven't even gone to Los Cafeteros yet. Signs of life, signs of something stirring perhaps for Los Cafeteros.
We saw some of this early on in the second half, and then they lose the ball in a bad position, and from there, France scored the third goal and seemed like it was game of match. Again, encouraging signs from Colombia. Some of that has to do with the fact that France has taken a step back, but give credit to guys like Campos who are getting an opportunity, and they're making the most of that opportunity, in this case, for today.
Romeo man, Campaz. Playing in Argentina with Rosario. Group K when they come to this World Cup. As you can see, Michael Olise placed all the heavyweights are getting a run out. Immediately involved and immediately brought down. Olise.
No. From the interview that we heard from Edward Camavinga with Alexis Nunes earlier this week, he was talking about Michael Olise. I think that anybody and everybody can agree when you watch Michael Olise is that it feels like everything just comes so easy to him. So his game is so relaxed. It's like he's gliding on the field. While everybody's freaking out, running, coming and going and yelling, he's just so smooth on the ball and gliding on the field. Has been outstanding for Bayern Munich this season.
Yeah. Actually, a delight to watch, isn't he? Second year in Bavaria after a move from Crystal Palace. His 15th cap is out there for France, 4 goals and 3 assists. Also, man, he could have represented England or Algeria or Nigeria, but did he have his at the inside track to play there? Edge in the back there. It's going to be a free kick.
Coming on the field without work rate to Colombia is going to stick in for a challenge. Getting 50-50 ball. They've been good in possession. They've brought some energy and some life to Colombia.
Delivering the free kick up, still up for grabs. Appeals for a handball, never half-heartedly. French defence under some duress here as Puerto reels around. Another good piece of play from him. And it's going to be a corner from the South Americans. Supporters of Los Cafeteros on their feet here. He's going for that, wasn't he? Spotted Samba coming out to meet the corner. One Quintero. So try and score with an Olympico. I'm happy he's going to ask for that to be retaken. Slung down inside the 6-yard box. Quintero eventually delivering to the near post. Rebounds. The French can't quite deal with. Now they can. Quintero coughing it up. France controlling the fly again. Elise and Kitike combining. Quickly claimed back by the Colombian two. Forward in the shape of Cordoba. Lerma. Worked out the defence and won a ball from Elise to release Ekitike round the keeper. He tried to go. Good recovery from Montero. Danger not removed. And it needs a goal line clearance in the end to prevent a fourth goal for the French.
And that in itself, I think, also shows you what France can be. It feels like all the emotion is with Colombia. The stadium is pushing the team forward. The energy is all about Colombia. Camavinga's losing the ball in bad angle. It felt like it was Colombia the one that was pushing for a second goal. And again, they lose the ball, and there's one pass forward, and Ekitike is still in goal. It takes a really good play from the goalkeeper out of Montero to keep Ekitike from scoring, and eventually Mbappe just ran out of anger. This team of France, even without having the ball, in one or two passes, individually they can hurt in so many ways.
So right about the energy levels being with Colombia. No notice of that.
Ekitike just showed too much of the ball to Álvaro Montero, knowing exactly what he was going to do. And if he was going to kick him to the outside, then that touch really has to get around the goalkeeper. Knowing full well that the goalkeeper is not going to have the pace to stay with Ekitike. Because we're too close to Montero, good play from the goalkeeper.
It's just one more to match Olivier Giroud in terms of all-time goal scoring for the French. But it's Juan Quintero who hasn't had a chance to serve this in, trying to keep this game interesting late on.
We mentioned it earlier, and I think you said it a few times, Adrian, in terms of the fans for Colombia and how much they support this team and how much they will support this team in the World Cup 2022 in the United States. I think it's a major advantage for Colombia. You sense it even here in an international friendly. The intensity and the energy has picked up on the field, as the fans have also picked up the energy and intensity, and that I think Colombia has going for them. It's not going to score goals for them, don't get me wrong, but I think it does make a difference, and they know they're going to be well supported, and this team and these fans are going to they're going to help each other, and that the team is going to provide them with something on the field that allows the fans to get behind them, and in doing so, I think Colombia becomes very difficult to beat and to play against.
Yeah. Well, we felt it firsthand, didn't we, travelling around Brazil in 2014, where yellow was a predominant colour, but if anything, the Colombian fans outdid the home fans at times in terms of noise and passion, fervour. Interesting, when you look at Colombia's schedule for the World Cup, they're in Group K, and actually the first two group games won't even be in the United States. They're in Mexico City, off against Uzbekistan, and then they'll never game in Mexico and Guadalajara against the winner of DR Congo and Jamaica, and then finish up in Miami against Portugal.
And I think we're both assuming that Colombia will get out of this group. And so once they get to Miami and play against Portugal, and now they're going to the knockout stage, round of 32, round of 16, and they're playing here in the United States, potentially, that's when you're going to see all these people all over the place. They could go to the end of the world and these fans will show up. But especially here in the United States, the support is going to be as we expect it to be from Colombia. You mentioned it, there is a passion about them, they love their team, they live and die with their national team, and they will show that in the stadium.
As for France, well, it's Senegal first for them. We want to avoid thinking about repeat fixture in 2002. Shocked the world when they were defending champions that game against Senegal in Jersey, and either Iraq or Bolivia in Philadelphia, and finished up in Boston against Norway.
We don't really know exactly what the meaning of these results are. People can sort of project and analyze and overanalyze and stats and this and that and the other narratives, rhetoric. But what we do know is that in the eye test, watching France play over the last couple of matches, both against Brazil and Colombia, they looked the part. They looked the part of a team that's not only one of the favorites, they are among the very elite. And it's a group right now, I think, of two, which is Spain and France, of the real favorites to win this whole thing. And then there's a group of Argentina and England and others that could join that conversation. But you must say, watching France over the last couple of games, they have shown all the qualities and attributes. And you sort of have to nitpick in order to say, well, they don't do this very well, and they don't all the qualities and attributes. And you sort of have to nitpick in order to say, well, they don't do this very well, and they don't do that. The center back position, that has been a problem. And when they get going like this offensively, it's difficult to stop them.
Yeah. There's Elise. Mbappe in control. Nicely done for Digne. Back to Mbappe! Into the side netting. It was interesting listening to him in the pre-match interviews leading up to this game, and he was asked to compare this French team to previous versions he's been a part of, and he said this is the most talented group yet he's been a part of.
Honestly. And we're talking about the Ballon d'Or winners not even on the field.
Yeah.
Right? So there will be guys sitting on the bench for France that would be the best player in most teams around the world.
That's the Colombian goal scorer. Carving out another corner. He did say what he didn't know yet, and none of us knows, whether even if it's the most talented French team that Mbappe has been on, is it the strongest? Because he did make the point that there are plenty of talented French teams that haven't won before. Another good moment here for Colombia. Is there another goal to come? There isn't. Last-ditch block. Campas trying his luck again. Samba able to punch it clear. And the French survive defensively and look to thrive at the other end again. Ekitike with a driving run. They go it alone, and well, he had Elise one side, he had Mbappe the other. He only had eyes for goal. Hugo Ekitike. That's a good ball. Good Cordoba to get on here. Exciting end to the game. Cordoba's curler not quite matching the level of excitement.
Over the last 30 seconds to a minute, there's 1,000 things to break down, but I can just tell you, Hugo Ekitike, you have Mbappe on the left and Elise on the right. You better be sure that you're about to score if you're going to take it on yourself. I suppose, as a striker, it may have been the correct decision because the defenders were backing up, but there was an opportunity to lay the ball up to either Mbappe or Elise. He chose to go on his own and did not make the contact that he wanted.
Why getting a little bit of a tangle there as we enter the final minute in stoppage time. Colombia looking again to have the final say. Peru with other ideas, it has been impressive. Elise hurdling the challenge. Maybe one more moment yet for them. It is Kylian Mbappe, he's round the keeper and he finishes! And he ties the all-time French record goal scorer.
Offside, Adrian. Calm down, Adrian.
That was going to be the moment. Olivier Giroud was about to hand his crown over to Mbappe, but it'll have to wait. Always the assistant referees are there with the final say.
I'm sure we'll get a very good replay with a very good angle of it, or maybe not.
Referee's rather enjoying what we're seeing later on. He's going to let them play on. We'll have another corner to work with. Campas is going to take it. And sends the yellow shirted crowd home happy with another strike. It's not going to come though. And with it goes the final whistle. And France 2 prevail by 3-1. They had the 2-goal lead at half-time. And they end with a 2-goal victory, putting the Mbappe at the ball in the back of the net. It was offside. So in the final analysis, and France with another comprehensive victory against South American opponents.
Yeah, and I think it's confirmation of what we already knew. France among the elite. Among the very best in the world. They were comfortable against Brazil, comfortable against Colombia today. He got a little more competitive in the second half, better from Colombia, but France is just too much. They're just among the best teams in the world.
Mr. Moreno, always a pleasure. Thank you for your company and thanks for watching with us. We'll send you now back to the ESPN FC studio crew, Craig Burley, Shaka Hislop and Dan Thomas.
France then proving once again why they're in the conversation to go all the way in the summer and win the World Cup. Craig Burley, Shaka Hislop here in the studio to reflect on what we saw in the opening 45, only 90 minutes of this time. It's half time. There we go. Plenty of action to take you through, of course, a sellout.